Hey, what's up everyone, it's Chase aka That Gay Jedi, and welcome to another video, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel where I cover and queer all things Star Wars. Back in June, I tweeted out asking queer Star Wars fans to send in what stories they would tell if given the keys to the kingdom at Lucasfilm. This video is a compilation of those submissions as well as what kind of queer story I would like to see told in our faraway galaxy. Before we dive in, I just wanted to say up top a huge thank you to everyone who submitted their stories. They were so much fun to receive and I can't wait to share them with everyone else. And also, just gotta say Lucasfilm would be wise to explore some of these pitches. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the video.
Hi Chase, I appreciate you taking submissions for queer stories you'd like to see in Star Wars. Ever since I have started dating my now fiance, I have longed to see a sapphic Mandalorian couple going throughout the galaxy saving children, a la Mandalorian, but a little bit more purposeful. I think it would fit nicely between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, where maybe they're trying to save kids from the burgeoning First Order and returning them to where they belong, or these two women are just starting their own clan in their giant spaceship RV, where they just have a lot of kids, and it just comes from a place of love. I think that they could show us a bunch of planets we've never seen before, introduce us to a bunch of characters we've never met before, and they could just not run into any of the canonical, already pre-existing Star Wars characters, unless they have a run-in with Mandalorian Din Djarin, where they, you know, have to rescue Grogu or something and take him back. I don't know. It's my elevator pitch, though. Let me know what you think.
Hey Chase and That Gay Jedi, it's Andy from Force Friends Rewatch. I'm responding to Chase's prompt about if you were given the keys to Lucasfilm and could tell one queer Star Wars story, what would you tell? There are some obvious answers that I would love to see. Din Cobb or Finn Poe would be great. I have a soft spot for Rose and comics as well. But if I could only tell one queer Star Wars story, it would be to see a trans assigned male at birth handmaiden for Padme. I'm non-binary myself, and I grew up with the prequel movies, and I remember seeing Phantom Menace and just thinking the handmaidens were the absolute coolest characters ever. And I remember reading a ton of handmaiden specific fan fiction and growing up just wanting to be in this badass warrior girl gang with Padme, and was maybe not the most popular choice when asked who my favorite Star Wars characters were as a little boy, saying the royal handmaidens of Naboo, but that's who I was, and those were the characters that I latched on to. It has been awesome to see them come back in a big way with E.K. Johnston's novels. If you had told me 10 years ago that a whole book series was going to come out about Padme and her handmaidens and it was going to be incredible, I'd have said you were dreaming and that there was no chance that Lucasfilm would do books like that, and I'm so happy I was wrong. I love these novels. I love how E.K. writes them as, weaponizing their femininity in really cool and interesting ways, whether it's using their costuming and their makeup to protect each other or to communicate with each other or to disguise themselves and to confuse their enemies or outsmart them. It's all really well written. It's so cool. And it would mean the world to me, and it would have meant the world to me as a kid, to know that this group of women is trans accepting and would see that character as just another girl and another part of the gang. And I just, as a genderqueer person who has to think a lot about my clothes and my makeup and keeping myself safe when I present different ways and having to think strategically about how I present, and I just really connect with these women who are having to do it to disguise themselves, and they choose new names, and they have to present in such a way that they could be mistaken for each other, and they're, constantly thinking about, am I passing as Padme, and am I passing as a handmaiden, and is Padme passing as me? And there's just a lot of queer energy, and specifically like gender queer stuff in those stories, and I think it's right there. And I don't know, it would mean a lot to me to see specifically a trans character in Star Wars. We have a couple non-binary characters now, and I love them dearly, and I love all of the queer representation we've been getting from authors like Kieran Gillen and Daniel Jose Older, and E.K. Johnston, and Chuck Wendig, and there's a lot of queer Star Wars happening right now in the comics and books. But as far as I'm aware, in canon, we have not seen a specifically trans character other than some non-binary ones. So it's something that I would love to see. It would mean a bunch to me. I think it's already right there in the themes of the stories. So that would be my pick. And sorry this rant has gone long, but I'm gonna end it there. Thank you so much. Love the channel, and thanks for giving us this prompt.
Hi, I am Rebecca, also known as Pencil Scratchings on the internet, where I draw things that are mostly gay and sometimes Star Wars. I have a lot of ideas for queer and gay stories that I would love to see within the canon, but for the sake of brevity, I will only focus on 2, otherwise we will be here all day. So the first story that certainly affects the main canon a lot more than the second one is, I'm sure this is no surprise to anybody who's seen any of my work online, but I would love to see a post-canon continuation of the main 4 babes from the sequels, particularly an in-depth exploration of the possible romantic relationship between Rose, Tico, and Rey. I, for one, think that this dynamic was criminally underutilized in the films, basically entirely ignored, which I think is a shame, because I think the characters have this really interesting, parallelism. They're both these people who are grieving their families, Rey grieving the family she never knew, and Rose grieving her sister and her parents that they've lost, but, they both still have this love and joy in the world around them, and this wonder in the universe. And seeing them rebuild after the First Order and fall in love, I think would be very meaningful and would really reflect the modern queer sensibilities. The second narrative is a lot more fun, a lot less serious, I think, but that doesn't mean that I am not invested in it, because more than anything in this world, I've talked about this before, more than anything in this world, I want a Pelimoto solo series, because to me, there is no character that screams gay divorcee living alone in the middle of a desert more than Pelimoto. I just think she has probably lived such a life, and you cannot tell me that is not a queer woman, okay? I would not believe it. Genuinely, to me, it seems like Peli is this great opportunity to kind of dive into the everyday existence of queer people in Star Wars. We can investigate gay Star Wars clubs, gay Star Wars communities. I genuinely think it would be wonderful, and I would like to canonize my theory that the cantina on Tatooine is a gay bar. Can't tell me it's not, because I believe it is. In all seriousness, I think that this question was really difficult for me to answer, because it's almost like that paralyzing effect of infinite choice. There is unlimited possibilities for queer stories to be told within the canon of Star Wars. Ultimately, the Star Wars universe is about communities of people, lonely people who find other lonely people and learn, even though they've been hurt in the past, that they can love, and that love is not just limited to romantic, but it's community, it's friendship, it's brotherhood, it's sisterhood, it's they themhood, it's this infinite possibilities for creation. To me, there is no better metaphor for the queer experience. You know, this idea of broken people finding each other and rebuilding a broken system into something that we can live in. Like, hello, this is how I made friends in college. Due to the nature of Star Wars and due to the nature of queer narratives, there was not a single point within the canon timeline that you could not magnify and investigate some sort of queer experience. And I think that's wonderful. And I, for one, cannot wait to see what everybody else says. And I just want to wish happy Pride to everybody. I hope everyone stays healthy and safe, both mentally and physically. And, you know, while you're at it, go send some love to another queer Star Wars fan, because we all need it right now. Happy Pride, everybody. This has nothing to do with the video, but, like, I found this in my brother's basement. Hello? That's gay rights.
Hello everyone, it's me sharing my story off camera in hopes of 1, explaining it better, and 2, offering some visuals that will hopefully make it all make a little bit more sense. The queer Star Wars story I would pitch to Lucasfilm would involve 2 queer characters as the leads. One probably being a chaotic bisexual pilot/smuggler, because that is very Star Wars to me. And the other character is a queer, gender non-conforming Twi'lek nightclub performer who thrives in a burlesque/drag type of scene. The story would take place years after the rise of Skywalker, and they'd both be probably in their mid to late 20s. Anyways, at the top of the story, they both meet and they recognize each other almost immediately because they're actually a dyad in the Force. They could recognize each other similarly to how Kylo/Ben and Rey recognize each other, but because this is my story, they would actually have no romantic or sexual attraction to each other. They would be a non-Jedi, platonic dyad in the Force. Of course, they always knew a part of them was missing in the dyad sort of way, and the two would basically gallivant across the country and fight evil in any way the story manifests that. And they would also help each other understand and develop their powers in the Force, and eventually they would take on a crew very similar in vibe to the Ghost crew in Rebels, and our 2 leads would very much be the parental figures of a group of ragtag queer Star Wars characters, although again, platonically. Aesthetic-wise, I'm thinking Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey vibes, and definitely told through live action and comics. And I also think it would be really cool if, like, our understanding of a dyad in the Force was subverted in certain ways. It's sort of like subverted in the ways queer people often subvert any traditional binaries. I just think that would be like a cool part to the story. And yeah, I think it'd be awesome to have characters like these two who are a platonic dyad in the Force, doing good with a bunch of other cool queer characters without getting too anti-hero-y, because, well, they're just chill, good-hearted people who believe in something and each other, and they just happen to be queer.
So, if I could create a queer story in the Star Wars universe, I would want to tell a story about a Jedi that is coming to terms with their sexuality and their love for someone else. As we know, the Jedi are forbidden to have attachments and such. I'd really want to set it during the High Republic, because that's a really interesting new era, and I think it fits well with that kind of theme and tone. And interestingly enough, or funnily enough rather, I'm actually currently telling this story with the thanks of Star Wars editor. I recently released the first story of Pit Tenkura, who is a gay Jedi Padawan during the High Republic. So I released that recently. Chase, if I can trust your editing skills enough, hopefully there's maybe a link below me here. I don't know, but you've offered me to give me the ability to kind of speak about this, and obviously so many other fans as well with their own stories. So thankful for that, as well as all the support you're giving me as well with this. So thank you. And yeah, so if you want to check out my queer Star Wars story, go go ahead and check it out.
Anyways, that was fun. Those are all the stories I have for today, and I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. And I hope videos like these can hopefully push storytellers at Lucasfilm and Disney to broaden the kinds of representation that we see in Star Wars. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought of the stories that were shared today, or maybe leaving what story you would like to see told in Star Wars sometime in the future. Finally, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel because I do put out new queer Star Wars content out every other Friday. Thank you all so much for watching. It means the world to me, and may the Force be with you always.